Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 38th episode of the 504 podcast. And guys, LSU Tigers, another coach, another hire. Zack, what you got?
Yeah, obviously LSU came in and hired Slade Nagel as their new tight ends coach. And, it's the type of thing where you wanted to get an experienced guy on staff just because you're bringing in two guys to elevate your offensive coordinator position in Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton. And clearly, Slade has experience as a play caller. I know before we hopped on here, Corey and I were kind of talking about how he wasn't the best play caller in the world, but
Nope.
obviously he's not going to be calling the plays for LSU because they elevated Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton to kind of take over that department. But look, LSU's been making a bunch of moves over the last, let's say, 15, 16 days. They've cleared their entire on-field staff. They've hired them all. They have everybody on staff now. It looks like somebody that's on the staff right now will kind of take over special teams duties. So Brian Kelly went out and revamped the entire defense, starting with Blake Baker, and then you got as a defensive coordinator, and then you got Bo Davis, defensive line coach, and so on and so on. So defensive-wise, you're done, you're set, and everybody's pretty pleased with it. It's kind of grand slam hire after grand slam hire, and then you look at offense, they did what was expected, and that's go and elevate Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton to co-offensive coordinators. And I was told that Joe Sloan's going to be the primary play caller for this team, and Cortez is going to be the guy who's doing the play design and continuing to work in the passing game. So you got all your stuff done, and then today you went ahead and filled everything out, and you hired Slade Nagel as your tight ends coach. So it's all done now. Brian Kelly's made his hires, and now you just move on, get ready for spring ball, and wait for that second transfer portal window to have some scholarships go away and add some other players because you're over the scholarship count now, and you make some moves. The coaching staff's done, but now you got to work on the personnel that you got in order to take that next step as a program. But pretty pleased with these hires, and obviously Corey's got some stuff to talk about. Coach Nagel, because Tulane fanatic over here, he knows a little bit more than I do on that front. But pretty excited what we got so far. And if the only, let's say, questionable hires you have right now are Corey Raymond and Slade Nagel, I think you're in a pretty good position because that tight ends group is absolutely phenomenal. You signed the number one tight end in America this year, so the weapons are there. But as long as he's not calling the plays, it sounds like it's going to be a good deal, huh, Corey?
Yeah, not the most popular guy uptown last year. Tulane fans really didn't like him, especially with Michael Pratt. They very conservative. Tulane offense regressed a lot this past year. But he is a guy from Louisiana. His dad is a pretty well-known coach at Zachary, coaching on the defensive side of the football. He knows how to recruit. He's been on Tulane staff for a while. Not a bad hire. Just don't give him the play calling duties. That's all I'll say, because the offense was rough, and you had a quarterback going in the third round and some talented receivers. Yes, they won 11 games, but offensively, especially in the fourth quarter, my man did not know what to call.
What was his role on Tulane's staff before he was elevated to offensive coordinator?
I believe he was kind of like the quarterback tight end coach.
Okay, so he's experienced in that area. Gotcha. Interesting.
Yep.
Mike, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's got experience all over the place, calling plays, tight ends coach, quarterbacks coach. So hopefully he can bring something in. I don't really know much about him. On the fact is with Tulane, he's got Louisiana ties. So hopefully he can recruit. Brian Kelly, one of the biggest things when he came in to LSU was tight ends and offensive line, and he's pretty much building on that. He's going to Mason Taylor, Trades Green. He's literally restocked the whole tight end room. So I trust Brian Kelly with the hire of this because he definitely has a type for that kind of coaching role. So I think it'll be okay. Anything else recruiting wise or anything like that, Zach, going on?
Basketball.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Oh, dude, this weekend's one of the biggest recruiting weekends of the year just because it's the junior day and all these big programs are starting to do their junior days. There's a bunch of them, throughout the offseason, but LSU's having their first one of the year this weekend. They're bringing in Jabare Antoine, who's the number 3 cornerback in the country and number 2 player in the state, and that's kind of like your big heavy hitter there. But Harlem Barry will be back in town. DeCorian Moore is expected to be in town. I don't know if he's going to end up making the trip. You're bringing in Lamar Steve. I mean, you're bringing in 3 of the top 5 players in the state in the 2026 and 2025 classes. So this week's going to be a monster weekend for this program. You're bringing in Lamar Brown too, who's top 5 player in the 2026 class. So you're just going to have a bunch of people in town. It would be a waste of time for me to sit here and ramble about, who's coming and their ranking and whatnot. But probably next week we can talk a little bit more about that just because I'll have a little bit more, like tidbits on that front. But it's going to be a really, really big weekend. And to get Antoine on campus is absolutely huge just because that like you're looking for defensive backs, you're looking for guys who can come in and make an impact. And Corey Raymond certainly made a big splash in his recruitment. It's going to be between Texas and LSU for him, and I think the hire of Corey Raymond, a new Iberian native, just like Antoine is a really big deal. So yeah, big weekend on the recruiting front, but that's about it. We'll talk more about that next week. No need to ramble.
Prediction for Thursday.
Yeah, and for everybody that's wondering about Thursday, that's LSU versus South Carolina. Number 1 team in the country facing off against LSU, number 9 team in the country, and you're looking at one of the biggest matchups of the entire year. And Kim Mulkey kind of downplayed it a little bit today, just saying that there's bigger games on the schedule, and there's not bigger games on the schedule. This is the biggest one of them all. Even when you come to tournament time, this is pretty much the biggest game you've got right now. So yeah, prediction-wise, it's tough. I've done my scouting reports. I've done my numbers. I've gone through it all. And South Carolina's a well-oiled machine. I mean, Dawn Staley, love her or hate her, she gets the job done. And I would expect her to probably get the job done tomorrow. But it just comes down to a depth thing with LSU. You have 7 players who play in your rotation, and I'm not quite sure that's going to be enough to take on a team of South Carolina's caliber.
Can they please give Haley Van Lith a wide open shot? Like, she's open 30% of the time, just sitting there at the 3-point arc, waving her arms, wide the fuck open. Why did you bring her in?
That's a good question, just because Haley Van Lith played off ball her entire career, and now she comes to LSU to transition to a point guard role. And it's one of the reasons why she wanted to come to LSU. One, to get coached under Mulkey, as well as kind of learn, how to be a true point guard. So she's still transitioning to that new role. It's something that she struggled with a little bit to this point. But to what you're saying, when she passes the ball off or they go inside the paint and she moves off ball, she's open a lot of times and she's not getting the shots. Yeah, exactly. And it was really one of the things that we were talking about the other day is just like she hasn't taken, let's say, 15 plus shots but one time this year. And when she did, she had a pretty damn good game. She had like 22 and 5 or something. So working on her role is still a work in progress, but LSU's really relying on Angel Reese and Michaela Williams to carry the weight. Rightfully so. Michaela Williams is probably the best freshman I've seen in a pretty long time. Obviously, Juju Watt. There's a lot of other players who've shined, but the lack of touches for Haley Van Lith is interesting, and making her be strictly a playmaker is a unique approach. But yeah, to what you're saying, there's definitely some evidence to that.
Yeah, I just every time I watch them, that's what I kind of see. She's just
lost.
Right, wide open. What's up?
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you for a second.
Oh, she's wide. There's a couple of times I saw her just wide open in the corner. She looks kind of frustrated, to be honest. But the last time they played a really good team, to start the year, top 5 team, they lost as well. So hopefully they can rebound this time.
Talking about LSU?
Yeah.
They played Virginia Tech, but yeah, they beat
Colorado, number 3 team in the country.
Now they are, but at the time Colorado is really good, bro. I really like it. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do come tournament time, but that team's good as hell. How was that USC game this week?
It was really good, dude. Juju is legit. Juju's a dog.
She's a freak.
She is.
Like, she's unreal.
Lengthy. She can handle the ball. She can pull up on the mid-range. She can shoot. She can pass. She can defend. She can pull the ball from the rebound, go coast to coast, make a good play. I don't want to say Michaela could be like her, but they have very similar games.
The two of them are so clear-cut, number 1 and number 2, 1A, 1B when it comes to freshman of the year. I think Juju might take the crown. She's a freak. Yeah. Like, she's unreal, dude. I'm so jealous that you got to see her in person, bro. Like, I've been wanting to see her play for so damn long. So obviously it was in Boulder. How was the atmosphere?
It was good. Sold out. 3rd largest crowd in Colorado women's basketball history. They've been selling out every game lately.
USC is nice, and Colorado is nice too, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What was USC ranked?
6. Colorado was 3rd.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. I'm so jealous. Yeah, Colorado's kick ass this year. That first game of the year was insane. That shut me up. Like, I was just like, oh my God. Like, because a lot of people didn't expect them to be that damn good. But they brought a bunch of returning talent, so they were going to be good. But I don't think anybody expected them to be top 5.
They're just experienced, right? They got Sherrod, their point guard. She's pretty shifty. They got
Foreman, the little sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Weta off the bench. Kendall Weta, 6-man. She's really good defensively. But yeah, they're legit. I know Mike wants to continue to talk about basketball, but transitioning into the New Orleans Pelicans franchise record, 153 points last night against the Jazz. There is no Jazz in Utah, by the way. Point Zion, they're going back to it. It seems like it's working. Mike, we talked about this last week. We begged for it. You have Trey Murphy. You have Jordan Hawkins. You got CJ McCollum. Put Zion at the point because they're either going to go one-on-one and he's going to score 30 or they're going to double him, and you got some of the best shooters in the NBA, and it's proving to work.
Yeah, I mean, he's most effective when he has the ball in his hands, right? So he's best at driving to the rim. That's his. I wouldn't say he's a one-trick pony, but he's pretty close to it because he can pass the ball pretty well. I think his passing's really underrated. But he was really impressive at Point Zion. He was impressive at Point Zion when they used him before. So I'm surprised it kind of took them this long to realize this. We've been saying it the past, 5 podcasts, that he needs to be having the ball in his hands, especially bringing it up at the court. So I think it'll make things better. BI, you can do the pick and roll off him mid range. You can play off Valanciunas. You can pretty much play off any of these guys. And then, like you said, just surround these guys with shooters with Hawkins and Murphy. So I'm really glad they're willing to change it up a little bit. And, they ended up with 153 points because of it. So, what do you have? 11 assists, which is the highest of his career.
Like 3 straight games with 40+ 3-point attempts.
Yeah. So I know Nagy's really big on Borrego. Borrego came in, and one of the point of emphasis was take more threes, and they definitely have done that. And then McCollum shot the ball really well. I mean, they put up 153 points, and Hawkins didn't have a good game. Murphy had a really bad game. He still had 14 points, but he was very inefficient. They only had 2 or 3 guys go off, so it wasn't like all the guys had 20+ points. I think the Pelicans are finding their stride a little bit, and then just stay healthy. So and then you're going to get Matt Ryan back. I don't know how much he's going to play, but that's another sniper you could add into the mix. So no, it's exciting times. I know I saw earlier in the game last night that they have the hardest record in the NBA for the month of January. The Pelicans do. So they just got to get through January. If they get a little above 500 or around 500, I think they'll be.
We're almost done, right? This is the 22nd, 23rd.
Yeah. So, if they keep going and they keep winning a couple more games, I think they'll be in really good shape. Where are they right now? Like the 4th seed, 5th seed?
I think 5th.
5th seed. Yeah. I mean, they're in good shape. So just continue to win, and they'll be fine. So the West is pretty jam packed. What are your thoughts, Nagy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was at the game on Friday night when Booker absolutely torched us and stuff. But aside from that one, I mean, it's hard to not like what they're doing. Point Zion's obviously. Once the ball's in his hands, he's effective, and getting to the paint's his bread and butter. I love seeing him drive and kick. Obviously, we have shooters, we have snipers, and like you were saying, Jordan Hawkins and Murphy might not have had like the best games ever last night, but at the end of the day, you still have your weapons. So once you continue to just gain more continuity, because I think that's what it's ultimately going to come down to with Hawkins. I mean, he plays, but he plays sporadically. Like he just doesn't play these consistent minutes. So I think the more he gets, NBA reps under his belt, the more he gets time on the floor with like Zion, BI, McCollum. I think the sky's the limit for this team. And I know last week or the week before, we were just sitting here talking about just staying healthy. If you stay healthy, you're fine. And we're sitting here not waiting for this injury or waiting for something to happen. But whenever it's too good to be true, it sometimes seems too good to be true. So right now they're cooking. I'm happy with what they're doing. And man, if they stay healthy, knock on wood, because I'm going to knock. I think the sky's the limit for this team. Willie Green and is kind of getting it done now. And I'm a big Borrego fan. I think he's definitely opened up the offense a little bit more. But look, McCollum torched last night. He was a sniper. I loved what he was doing. And look, I really think the sky's the limit for this team as long as Zion and everybody else stays healthy.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of talking about moves. Like I really don't see a trade they make, but I see them being in the buyout market. One guy is Kyle Lowry. Just got traded to Charlotte. I think
that'd be interesting.
You need an extra ball handler, extra point guard, guy with experience, good locker room guy. Kyle Lowry can be that. I think they need another shot blocker. Don't see any shot blockers coming available. I think this is the team. Besides maybe Kyle Lowry.
Is a dark horse that could get bought out or like traded and then bought out? Chris Paul.
Yes.
I forget he exists.
He's hurt. But yeah, I mean, do you think he? I mean, he always talks so highly of New Orleans. Do you think he could get traded and then come
He would
back
have to
here?
come off the bench.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's kind of understood by
Yeah.
that. But I mean, he could be one. You know, it was reported that, like you said with Lowry, that Griffin offered him $100 million over 3 years, which even everyone thought was ridiculous at the time, and it still is ridiculous. So, I mean, that's just the nature of a small market team, especially New Orleans. You have to overpay for some guys, but yeah, you never know with Lowry, you never know with Paul, you never know with Hayward, you never know with really anyone. The NBA is so fluid with everything. So you don't think there's anyone available for trade that like is an obvious move, Corey?
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious name that keeps coming up is Jared Allen.
But is it obvious? Is it ever going to get done?
I don't know. Some teams like to wait till the very last second. Maybe. I know this year's draft is pretty weak. That's what I keep hearing from everyone. There's really no like franchise changing guys. It's just a bunch of really high end role players. It seems like from everyone I'm hearing about, all the draft experts. So what about if the Pelicans offer the Cavs, Valanciunas, Marshall, our first round pick, not the Lakers, like this year, and then maybe a swap or something? Would you say no?
I just don't know the difference between Jared Allen and Valanciunas.
Well, Jared Allen, I looked up Jared Allen's age. He's 25 years old. So like that builds into like your nucleus. He'd be pretty much on pace with like Ingram, Zion, all these
here's
guys.
the thing. You keep talking about that. Who's the better basketball player?
Well, I mean, they do different things. Like, I think. I mean, one protects the paint, the other doesn't. One can shoot threes, the other doesn't. One can score, the other,
But you remember,
Allen can score, but it's not as much.
We had a guy who can protect the paint and couldn't shoot threes.
Adams.
And it was a terrible fit next to Zion. So, like, you're playing with a double-edged sword here. I think you trade Valanciunas for Jared Allen, and then you kind of have the same issues you had 2 or 3 years ago where you don't have an offensive threat. You don't. You're better defensively, okay, but defensively you're pretty good.
The fever dream is Miles Turner. Like that's what that's like.
Yeah. I mean that's
the fever dream
forever. But I make this argument about Valanciunas all the time. It's like there's only like 8 centers better than Valanciunas.
Yeah, they just need paint protection, and there's just like no guys out there, I feel like, that can do it. I mean, but like Jared Allen's a way better player than whatever we had with Steven Adams. You got to admit that.
Yeah, but you would have the same issues.
What, spacing? But I mean, everyone says like, oh, Zion has to play with a stretch 5. Well, Zion never played with a stretch 5, so you really don't know. And then if you keep this point Zion thing going, then is that really necessary? I don't know, but they just need some kind of paint protection. I mean, they torched us. I mean, it's hard to complain about 153 points on the board, but they torched us like in the paint. They driving right by the guys all night last night. And then you just see with Valanciunas, like the bigs, they do really good bigs do kill Valanciunas. I remember Ayton ate up Valanciunas last year.
Yeah, but
Ayton's not even good.
But here's the thing. I've seen Embiid and Jokic torch Jared Allen.
Well, they torch everyone. Those guys are just
those are MVPs too. Like that's my only counter.
Like the top tier centers, there's such a gap between them. Like, what's the gap? Like, I just think Valanciunas is about 50 times better than Jared Allen offensively. And is Jared Allen 50 times better than Valanciunas defensively? I think maybe.
So what do you are you kind of saying just like work with what you got now and just do what you can instead of just trying to make a deal?
I would try to find a backup big with any type of rim protecting, like a McGee, right? A Dwight Howard, like any type of that. And then when Valanciunas does get exposed, okay, you put in Dwight for a few minutes, you cause the pain, you have Valanciunas eat up their second unit whenever they come in. Because there's so many times Valanciunas is a mismatch. He is.
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't give up that.
So what do you do in the offseason now that he's a free agent? You extend Valanciunas, and then you just draft a center or go after a center if you don't get with the deadline? Like, what do you do?
The NBA is so hard. What does going after a center mean in a draft? Dude, the draft is such.
You could trade up. Like if someone's sitting there, at 8 and the Lakers pick, you had the 14th, and if you don't deal this
You
pick,
just said it. There's no superstars or good centers.
yeah, but you can get a role player center. Like there's a few centers in this draft that could like.
But it's not guaranteed that they're going to work out like Valanciunas. You got a guaranteed 14 and 10 every single night. A guaranteed 14 and 10. Consistent. You ain't getting that in this draft.
So you extend Valanciunas then?
Yes.
What do you just stay in contract 2 for 30 or whatever it may be?
Yeah, it's a very good contract.
I mean, it seems like the consensus is Jared Allen's better than Valanciunas, but I don't.
Well, why is Cleveland trying to get rid of him?
Well, him and Mobley don't fit together, and it's like, who are you going to pick, Mobley or him? And it's pretty obvious who you pick. At least that's what I've heard.
This feel like his fourth team. He went to the Nets. He went to Cleveland. Now he's going. I just don't think Jared Allen is that better than Valanciunas. And
I don't think so either. I just think he fills a deficiency on his team that is
that's
needed.
great, but then you have another deficiency. You go from having one deficiency to another deficiency.
Who, just scoring? Well, then you just give other shots to Ingram or Zion. I don't think it's a big
dude. They get in so much trouble sometimes. And like, oh shit, what do we do? Throw the ball in the paint, let Valanciunas go to work.
But you're acting like Jared Allen puts up 8 points a game. He puts up 14 or whatever. He's not that bad. He's not that inadequate.
He's not that much.
Yeah, he's not Valanciunas, but he's a better defender. So that's what I'm saying. Like you're supplementing the deficiencies.
Yeah, but you're going from one deficiency to another deficiency. All right, we're going in circles here. All right, we can agree to disagree, but I don't think Jared Allen is the solution to this team. And I also think you could fuck up with the chemistry and a lot of different aspects. So I'm not on the Jared Allen train. You are. That's fine. Let's move on.
All right, what do you want to move on to?
Let's talk about playoff losses.
NFL?
Yes, because the Buffalo Bills, I felt that.
That was tough.
Dude, I literally felt that. When he kicked that, I was like, not again. Not again. Why?
I'll ask you a question before I have to hop off. Do you think Josh Allen's an elite quarterback?
Fuck yeah.
Do you think Josh Allen's a top 3 quarterback?
Yes.
I mean, who's better? I mean, Mahomes, obviously, and then what do you put Lamar in there? I mean, who else would be?
I would put, look, Josh Allen made one of the best passes in the playoffs this year. If Diggs catches it, we're not having this fucking conversation. If Diggs can catch the football, we're not having this conversation. Josh Allen, without Josh Allen, the Bills are a 3-14 team.
I agree. I've been seeing a lot
90% of their touchdowns.
Dude, I was watching like all these people like just crucify him and stuff and saying like, is Josh Allen to blame? Or look at Josh Allen's track record. He's never been able to get it done. And you can talk about the defense, you can talk about this and that, but he just doesn't get it done. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, damn.
58 wins. It's the same thing with Breeze.
I'm sitting there, I'm looking at all these like, and these are your TV analysts, bro. Like I'm sitting there, I'm watching them say this shit. I'm like, God damn.
People are irrational, man. You won 58 games in 5 years. Shut up.
Yeah, he wasn't out there on that 13 seconds too. So, that's another thing. If the defense can stop Mahomes in 13 seconds, they go to
He wins on the road in Kansas City.
Yeah. No, it's not completely his fault. Was it his fault not hitting Diggs going across the field? Yeah. Was it his fault to play after that? Yeah, but
I disagree with that too. Wide open receiver in the back of the end zone. Wide open. The pass rush doesn't come, and he steps in and throws. That's a touchdown.
It's
a touchdown. You saw the replay. He was wide the fuck open.
You could play what ifs all day with the NFL.
Exactly. You sitting there blaming the guy for not hitting Diggs. He made the correct read. It was a wide open touchdown.
Yeah, but he didn't make the throw.
Yes, he didn't make the throw because he got hit.
It's what ifs with the NFL. Every single thing.
But what ifs? He's won 58 games. Right?
No, I'm on your side. I'm on your side with Josh Allen. But like people nitpick the little things, and
they do all the time.
It was crazy, bro. Like I was watching like the analysts say so much.
we're gonna have the same dumbass conversation if Lamar loses on Sunday.
No, ESPN throws these stupid topics out.
He's also
or
an
just,
MVP though. Like,
yeah, ESPN, Fox Sports, they all throw these stupid topics out, like how does this affect LeBron's legacy, like or some stupid shit, and it gets headlines and it gets clicks. So that's what they do.
And can we
I'm not
stop
surprised.
on Brock Purdy? The dude's
Can we-
in his second fucking year, his second season in the NFL.
that is
And
pretty
he played
crazy.
the
to think.
NFC Championship game back-to-back years. I don't care how much talent's around him. He's a second-year quarterback. He's a second-year quarterback and led that drive for the go-ahead touchdown.
He lost to UL, by the way.
He did at home.
You think Brock Purdy's an MVP candidate though? That's what
Candidate, maybe, but he's Lamar's your
top
MVP.
five
Like,
candidate. I don't think he's the best MVP candidate on his team, but I think he's a good quarterback.
well said. That's well said.
I
I'm
think
about to have
he's
to hop
above
off though
average.
and take this call. Before this, I want to know what you guys' predictions are for this weekend.
Ravens,
All right.
Niners.
I can't do Ravens Niners because of the Super Bowl logo. I cannot.
So who you got?
Don't tell me you're one of those.
Lions, Chiefs.
Lions, dude. I can't see the Lions.
Dude, Dan
love it.
Campbell. Dude, I'll tell you what Dan Campbell's doing right now. He's calling Sean Payton. How do we steal an extra possession from the 49ers right now? There's going to be fake punts. There might be a fake field goal. Dan Campbell's going all out, ballsy to the wall. And you know Kyle Shanahan, he struggles in two things, to hold leads and then to come back from leads. So if the Lions either get up, San Francisco might be screwed. And if they go up, 49ers go up big, shit, he's going to do what he does all the time and blow that fucking lead.
You
Let's go,
genuinely,
Lions!
you genuinely think that they pull it off, or are you just kind of playing devil's advocate?
No, I have a good feeling about Detroit. They're the best story in the NFL. And, dude, I'm telling you, the NFL, they called in all the referees in favor for the Chiefs this weekend. They're terrified because of the Super Bowl logo shit. I'm dead serious. They're terrified of it.
I
Because
like it.
that would be 3 years in a row where the Super Bowl logo is the team playing in it.
Interesting. I like it. We're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the same page. All right, y'all go kill some Saints talk. I'm gonna talk to y'all in a little bit.
We don't have nothing to talk about the Saints. We're talking about devastating losses. You don't want to hear this shit.
I'm gonna have to go listen to it.
Yeah, I was
after.
gonna say Saint or just playoff losses on it.
Killer
You're a
guys.
Saints fan. You're a Saints fan. You already know.
Give me your top five.
Dude, with what? Just all time?
Most devastating, because I thought about this. All right, here's my top five most devastating Saints playoff losses. Number one,
Saints specifically? Oh,
yes,
God. You're making me go
January
through this. I feel like a war veteran right now.
January 20th, 2019, right? The no call. We don't have to explain it. I was there, felt like a Dementor sucked the soul out of my dad. Like
The
it was
Dementors.
Number two, I'm actually going to say 2012 49ers. All right.
Oh, that was a good one.
Vernon Davis over the middle. And that one's a lot closer to the no call than the rest of this list because that was the best Saints team. We would have killed the Giants the next week. Number three, it's going to be a surprise. Minnesota Miracles 4. Number 3 is Jared Cook fumbling because that was Drew Brees' last game, and that was the end of the era. That was devastating because we had the Bucks, right? I felt good about winning that game against the Bucks. And I remember Cook fumbling and we lost. It was like, shit, this is the worst ending than Game of Thrones. Because that was it with the Breeze era. 4, Minnesota Miracle. Those are heartbreaking, right? 5, I wanted to put Beastquake, but it's not Beastquake. And then I thought about the Kyle Rudolph push-off, but we deserved to lose that game. Believe it or not, I'm going to go 2006 Bears at the NFC Championship game for this one reason. I remember that was like the hope and just feeling very, very sad when that season ended.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to rank all those. They all suck. Dude, you know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl? Like, if you just go back and look at, like, when the Saints won it, how many lucky breaks, like, went their way? Like, onside kick, Favre thrown behind his body. Like, just so many little –
Even to get the 1 seed, Mike.
yeah. Like, just so many little things have to go your way. You have to, like, that's what I kind of pay attention to in the playoffs. These, like, little bitty plays that happen. It's like, oh, the ball bounced that way, or, you know, they got this call. Like, every little thing you kind of have to keep a little note in your head. Like, oh, okay. So it kind of, you play a little bit of destiny and a little devil's advocate. So
that's why, like, the destiny term, I just feel like that's Detroit right now.
dude, I just don't think their secondary is very good.
They're terrible. They're terrible. But their pass rush is decent, right? I don't trust Kyle Shanahan's one of the best coaches in the NFL. He is. But my man loves
He's
ball.
overrated, though.
Dude, he doesn't win big games. He doesn't.
No, what was the stat? He's now one after the before the Packers
30.
game. He was 0-30 before the Packers game, going into the fourth quarter, being down 5 or more points. Dude, that's a play not to lose, coach. Like,
100%.
instead of a play to win. So, I mean, he was the coordinator for the Falcons on 28-3 too. So, you know, I think he's a really good play caller, but I think he does get very timid, and he does like to. I don't know. I don't think he's as good as everyone says he is. Would I love to have him as a head coach? Absolutely, of course. Yeah. But some people put him in like this GOAT tier, not GOAT tier, but like top tier in the NFL now. Huh?
He's not McVay.
No, yeah, I'd much rather McVay. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, playoff losses, it's tough. Yeah, crucifying Josh Allen, that was tough. You know, it's tough being a sports fan. It's just like you get reminded of it every weekend of just like teams that get bounced, and you're like, oh, you know, it's almost more like a relief than like being happy at this point. Like,
yeah, like, and that's what, like, when I saw that field, I was like, damn, I remember that for like 5 straight years in a row.
So you have the Lions and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Do they cover? Well, I guess they would cover. They're both underdogs.
Yeah. I feel more confident, obviously, about the Chiefs just because I do look at who's reffing the games and like their stats against each team. Stats are looking very good for the Chiefs in terms of refs.
Well, Taylor Swift, that's like the NFL's wet dream. So,
and dude, I'm telling you, like, you might think I'm crazy about that Super Bowl logo thing, but that's
2 years. How many Super Bowls are there? Like 50?
It would be 3 years in a row.
Okay, but how many Super Bowls are there? Like 50 Super Bowls at this point? Yeah, so like
3 years in a row.
So you're at 2. You're at 2 out of 50 right now. Like, come on, Corey. You're at 4%.
3 years in a row, man.
You're taking a 4% sample size, and you're basing your picks off.
I'm taking the last 4.
Dude. Well, it would next year's logo put the Saints in the range?
No. It's purple, green, and black.
I thought they had gold in it. No. When's New Orleans go to Super Bowl? Is it 25 or 26? Next year. So you don't want to talk about offensive coordinators, candidates?
Who the hell are we going to get, Mike? Dennis Allen didn't have any connections with the league, and he's struggling to try to find anybody to come work for him.
Well, I was kind of thinking, like, if you're a coordinator, like, obviously there's only 32 of these jobs, so they're pretty prestigious. But, like, if you're a coordinator, why the hell would you want to come here? Like, if you come here, like, you kind of know, everyone kind of knows, like, Dennis Allen does not have a long leash. So, if you come here, like, 3 things are going to happen. You're going to, like, have a really good offense with Derek Carr, no offensive line, and, like, mid-range weapons. You're going to kill it. And then you'll probably get rehired by the next coach, which almost never happens in the NFL because everyone brings their own staff. You win a bunch of games with Dennis Allen, which is unlikely. Or Dennis Allen gets fired and you take over the head coaching role and you prove your worth like mid-season. So, you know, I don't think it's a very desirable job, but there are 32 of these positions. So I'd like to see the Rams quarterback coach, Zack Robinson. That guy seems like pretty good candidate. But yeah, just someone young, someone innovative.
Talked about this last week.
Yeah, just someone younger,
Yeah.
someone innovative. They're saying like Ronald Curry, any quarterbacks coach now.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just do this shit mid-season to test this out? I don't.
Dude, they don't make any sense, Mike.
Dude, did you see? You know how like the Saints? I saw on Twitter. Do you know how the Saints always love the Senior Bowl?
Yeah.
Let me find this 1 second. I think I just saved it. With that being said, go follow 504 Cord Media on Twitter. I gotta find this. No. Where is it? Oh shit, dude, I can't find it. But dude, the last like I don't know 8 drafts from like the Senior Bowl have been terrible. It's like Isaiah Foskey, Marcus Davenport. The only pick we hit on from the Senior Bowl was Eric McCoy, and everyone else is just terrible. Like Trevor Penning, like literally everyone was just terrible. So I'm not saying don't scout it, but Saints need to chill out on the Senior Bowl.
Well, then they go to the Senior Bowl, and Tajay Spears goes absolutely crazy at the Senior Bowl, and he's second in terms of running backs and yards this past year. And they take Keandre Miller instead of Tajay Spears, who's a Saints fan.
Yeah, no, I mean everyone. The Saints hate taking LSU players. They hate taking guys fans agree on. So that just seems like it's the same thing every year. People they love taking those Ohio State kids. It just sucks.
Yep.
Saints are just in no man's land, and it really does.
We say this every week. Yep.
But
anything else?
Dude, I don't know what else is there to talk about in sports.
It's about it for right now.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the Bucs head coach getting fired.
All right, talk about Doc Rivers having another golden opportunity to blow a 3-2 in the playoffs.
I did post this or repost this. Hold on. Doc Rivers has 32. He's lost 32 closeout games. Lost seven series when leading 3-2.
Yeah.
Lost 10 game sevens. lost 12 series when holding a series lead. Bro, that's bad. He's been I've never seen a coach just ride one championship so hard. And that team was unbelievably stacked. So what they had like 3 or 4 Hall of Famers. So
yeah,
just unbelievable. But
good old Doc.
Yeah, we'll see. Dude, Giannis is low-key kind of a coach killer.
Back-to-back years. I mean, he had Bud for a long time.
Yeah, but Bud, Griffin, I mean, Rivers will probably get it if he keeps doing what he's been doing. Yeah, who knows?
Yep.
But yeah,
all right,
that's
brother.
all I got.
That's all for this week. Follow, subscribe, 504 Media, and we will see you guys next week. Hopefully, previewing a Lions-Ravens, or I'm gonna pull for the Lions-Ravens. So there you go. I'll pull for this.
Yeah. Well, I'm pulling for the Lions, dude. Don't get me wrong. I'm pulling for the Lions, but I don't think their secondary can hold up with the Niners. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So, all right, bro.
All right, guys.